Okay, this is Randy from the Metallic Onslaught, and Lance is here as well, and we are talking to Muscle Marcus.
Thought you didn't know my name for a second there, and it's Marcos.
Marcos, not Marcus, Marcos.
Right,
okay.
Slide.
Okay.
This one time.
I welcome you to my humble abode, down here in my den. So you got some questions for me? Or?
Yeah, well, you know, kind of maybe bring us up to date here. You wrestled last week in Auburn with Squared Circle Wrestling. How'd that go for you?
Well, I got a victory over Colin Delaney, so that's been good. I haven't been up here to the Metallic Onslaught in a while. I think my first time was, that's back in what, 2003?
It's been a long time, yeah, about that long.
I was promoting the Ring of Honor show in Spencerport, and that was in October of 2003. So
wow, that's it. Wow, that's insane.
Been like around that time that I came up the first time, and then I came up again like 3 or 4 years back. So it's been a little while, but not much has changed.
Well, bring us up to date in terms of you wrestled all over pretty much New York State, or what is it, the tri-state area? I mean,
I've wrestled all over the country for the most part. You know, right now I'm sticking more to local shows, but you know, I've wrestled in Florida, I've wrestled in Minnesota, I've wrestled in Illinois, Indiana, Massachusetts. You know, I'm all over.
You've pretty much you were with Ring of Honor for how many years, pretty much?
From 2002 through 2006.
Excellent. And your tag team partner at the time was
Dunn,
right?
Marcos.MP4 Express.
And you guys had a little run after Ring of Honor too, correct?
Yeah, we stuck together. He hurt his knee, so he quit wrestling. He got a bucket tear in his knee, and he was out for quite a while. And then he got married, had a kid, so he doesn't wrestle anymore. But I've kept going since then.
And you kind of branched out. You kind of did the whole Shawn Michaels thing, right, for a little while, in terms of, you know, you weren't a tag specialist anymore. You tried the single. Yeah,
I'm wrestling singles now, mostly. Both 2CW and NWA New York, and I wrestle for other places here and there. Buffalo Championship Wrestling, obviously based out of Buffalo. A place called Pro Wrestling Revenge, I think, out of Erie, Pennsylvania. There's a place in northeastern Ohio that I'm starting up with called Severe Pro Wrestling, or no, Severe Championship Wrestling, I'm sorry. So I keep busy between you know, all the different promotions, but the main ones I do right now are 2CW and NWA New York.
You've worked with a lot of people too, in terms of like Randy mentioned last week was versus Colin Delaney. Who else have you worked with and had some matches
guys
with?
Who are currently like doing good for themselves. I've worked with CM Punk, he's the current WWE champion. I've worked with Daniel Bryan, the current world champion. I've wrestled him. We did shows with those guys for years.
In Ring of Honor.
Yeah, yep, and elsewhere as well. We, you know, Full Impact Pro based out of Florida, IWA Mid-South out of Illinois, Indiana area, IWC out of Pittsburgh, Jersey All Pro out of Jersey, CCW out of Philly. So we worked with a lot of those guys throughout the years, in a lot of different promotions, mostly Ring of Honor, but MVP is another one. He was in WWE for a while. We worked with him a lot in FIP. He's a cool guy. Paul London and Brian Kendrick. Worked with them. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, worked with them. Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, all those guys.
Nice.
If you could pick one match to you that stands out, like, oh man, that was an amazing match. No matter who it was with, do you have a certain match that is, you know,
that I was involved in?
Yeah. Yes.
There'd be a handful of them. I wouldn't be able to narrow it down just to one. Speaking of the Ring of Honor show, there's the back in 2003, the one that I came here to promote the first time. We had a scramble match, and I had a lot of fun with that. That was a good one. We wrestled the Backseat Boys a few times in Ring of Honor, and those were always a good time. Trent Acid has since passed away, but we had some good matches with those guys. So, you know, throughout the years, we've had a lot of good matches with a lot of good guys, you know.
What's the largest crowd you've ever worked?
Probably in the 2,000 to 3,000 range. So I mean, not too big, you know, but good enough. That was probably for Ring of Honor. We used to run in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and we get good crowds for that. They brought in Jeff Hardy on one show, and we drew probably 2,500 for that, I'm guessing.
Nice.
Other shows they bring in like Jushin Liger, Kenta Kobashi. We had the Great Muda on a show, and we draw big crowds for those.
Now you've worked both kind of heel and face. Is there a particular one that you kind of prefer?
I don't know. It works both ways. You know, some nights, you know, whatever I'm doing that night, you make it work. I think working as a face comes a little more naturally to me, being a smaller guy. I can do a lot of my flashy stuff, you know, just flows. But working as a heel is fine with me too. You know, I've been doing this for a while now, so you know, one way or the other, you just, you know, make it work.
Yeah, and for you too, I think, like you were on the opening match of the card that we were just at, and when you come out, some people might not know how to respond to you. You know, they're not sure if it's a newer crowd that's not sure of who you are.
Yeah.
You know, do we cheer? Do we boo? And you kind of work, you know, win them over one way or the other too.
You kind of find a way to, you know, get yourself over. That's the main thing with wrestling is, you know, you want to go out there and put on a good match and, you know, make a name for yourself and do some cool stuff and, you know, get people talking. But, you know, the main thing is you want to get yourself over one way or another by hook or crook. You know, that's your objective no matter what you're doing that night is go out there and get yourself over, you know. And it's not necessarily something you can plan out beforehand. You just got to go out there and feel the crowd and, you know, just try different things and get yourself over one way or another.
So do you have do you personally have a website or anything?
No, I don't. I'm like I said, I'm lazy. I should, but I don't. It wouldn't be that hard to get one.
That's all right. Tell us about you have a show in Utica tomorrow night. What are some of your upcoming appearances besides, like, you know, tomorrow night?
Well, I have Elmira tomorrow night.
Elmira, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, and Scotty Tuhati's going to be on that from WWE. He used to work with Grandmaster Sexay, Brian Christopher, and Rikishi, and so Scotty Tuhati's going to be there tomorrow in Elmira. Then I got NWA New York next week, March 10th in Rochester, or Gates to be more specific. And then I have, just trying to think here, 2CW in April is running in, they got a double shot, I'm not sure. I know Watertown is one of the towns, and maybe Syracuse, I'm not sure though. It's Watertown and someplace else. I have Buffalo coming up in April as well. I will go to Erie, Pennsylvania once in a while for Pro Wrestling Revenge, or Pro Wrestling Rampage. But my most immediate shows will be tomorrow in Elmira for 2CW, and then next week in Rochester for NWA.
Excellent. Anything you have, Randy?
Oh, so let's see. The first thing that pops to my mind, anybody you haven't worked with yet that you'd like to?
There's a lot of guys. I mean, you know, some of the legends, obviously, you want to get in there with. I've had the privilege of wrestling Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Nice.
I got to do a really cool spot with $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
Oh, very cool.
He ended up putting me out with $1 Million Dream. I got to tag with Marty Jannetty of the Rockers, which was like, actually my mom still has a little story I wrote in like 2nd grade, and in that story I wrote about tag teaming with Marty Jannetty.
Cool.
Actually, that came to fruition. You know, I actually got to team with him, and that was pretty cool.
Did you actually show him that story?
No, I think my mom told him, like, during intermission he was signing autographs. She came up and said something to him about it. But yeah, there's some legends that, you know, I got whacked with Jim Cornette whacked me with his tennis racket.
Nice.
Cool, pretty cool. Bobby Heenan insulted me once.
Oh, that's really cool.
He said that kid looks like he's 12. He couldn't beat my dick. So that was
a great one.
You know, you don't want to be complimented by Bobby Heenan. You know, if anything, you want the guy to insult you. So
yes,
pretty cool.
that's like an honor in itself, right there.
Got to wrestle Danny Doring in Roadkill. That was pretty cool from ECW, and I mean, there's other guys that I'm sure, like, names that I've forgotten about, or off the top of my head at least. But as far as guys I haven't yet, I mean, there's, you know, any of the legends, it would be cool. You know, I grew up watching all of those guys, so it'd be cool to work with any of those guys. As far as current guys, you know, the same thing. You know, working with anyone new is, you know, it's always cool. You know, regardless of who it is. So you know, any of the guys that are around today, you know, that I haven't worked yet, I would love to work.
Very nice.
Cool. All right, that's all I got.
All right, so yeah, just to wrap it up, do you know any of the of the websites of the companies that you're working for that we can go check out and let us know that, just so if you know any of us want to, or anyone watching this wants to find out more about some of these local shows or some of these great independent wrestling federations, how to get a hold of them.
Yeah, 2CWWrestling.com. That's the number 2, CWWrestling.com. And that's obviously for 2CW. And NWA would be NWANY.com. You can check them out there. So those would be the 2 main ones to check out. And it's funny you say that, you know, emphasis on wrestling. I believe 2CW's motto is wrestling is the entertainment.
Yes.
And I buy into that mantra.
Very cool.
Good deal.
Well, thanks a lot. Hopefully next time it won't be another 2-3 years before you come up again. And everyone go to an independent show and support independent wrestling.
Indeed.
Yeah, thank you guys.
No problem, man.